with Joseph, and then we'll just start with Joseph for now.
Hey, Coach, great game. Close one compared to what you've been experiencing the rest of the season. How big of a performance was that from Sean Hunley? Just coming in there and shutting them down, not letting them score any.
Yeah, it was huge. B, it was kind of, and certainly no disrespect to the opponent because you saw what we're going to get all weekend is extreme competition. But that was more the version of Sean Hunley on a Friday that we expected and that he expects. I mean, he was good enough to get the job done last week on a Friday, but the last two times out, the ball's really been coming out of his hand well, and that's been the most encouraging thing. And then the icing on the cake has been the W's.
We'll go to Wes.
Yeah, Tony, it seems like, it's early in the season, so the sample size probably isn't large, but, Max's contact rate has maybe not been great. I think he's got 7 or 8 strikeouts. Is that a concern, or is it just early in the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much a concern because you know what type of kid you're dealing with. I mean, he's a winner. He's an incredible competitor, and he's a hard worker, but he's certainly not himself. So anytime that's going on, you want to look at things, and you're never going to find one main answer. But Coach Elander and I were just kind of discussing some things back in the locker room, and ultimately it's going to be up to him to get back to his roots. What made him that guy that basically carried us to a couple wins just as a freshman. And then, last year was kind of thought of by his teammates as our best all-around guy. And, most everyone's back from last year. So just getting back to his roots, I think, is the main thing. But there's a lot of little things that we've seen that, have been inconsistent with who he's been, especially leading up to the season, because he was dynamite in spring training as well as the fall.
And we'll go to Ben next.
Coach, how would you assess your defense right now? Seems like it's been sloppy at times to start the season. Or is that too strong of a word to use?
I was just going to say, come on, Ben. Sloppy's a little strong. Our goal is to win, and that's in all categories. And you are competing against yourself, but you're also competing against another team. And other than, one game, we've had fewer errors than the other team that we've played. So the defense has been good, but it hasn't been what it's capable of being. And, the thing that makes it frustrating tonight is we didn't execute how we were going to handle a bunt a certain way. And then we just kind of had mass chaos take place when they actually kind of made a mistake. We didn't make them pay for that. So pretty frustrating to see that. But when you see a guy like Jordan Beck cut that ball off to his right and keep a guy to a single, a couple big double plays we've had in certain situations. Jackson Greer's caught his butt off. Pav, I remember one outstanding block and throwing a guy out tonight. There's been good moments. There just needs to be fewer mistakes.
All right, we'll go to Josh Lane next.
Coach, Chad Dallas gave you, 5 solid innings earlier today. Not quite as sharp as he was last week, but what did you see from him tonight in his start?
Yeah, tonight we were able again to inch that pitch count up just a little bit. And also he had to work out of more jams tonight. So it is all about getting better as the season goes on and just getting better as a player in his tenure in our program, but also to prepare for the battles that take place in the SEC. And that was kind of what we had on our hands tonight. So it was good to see him. The fortitude that he has never seems to go away on game day. And I thought it got challenged tonight even more than it did last Friday with some of the situations he had to work out of. So that was the main thing I took from it.
All right, we'll take a few more guys. We'll go back to Joseph, and then Wes, and then finish with Ben.
What went into your decision of keeping Dallas in there after the 4th inning where he seemed to struggle, and then let him go out there for the 5th?
Yeah, I think just pitch count wise, he was in a decent spot. And, I think you might be referring to the 6th where he went out and we only gave him 1 hitter. It was just a short leash that we had on him, and he had 2 strikes on the hitter. And to be honest with you, from my vantage point, the guy did a pretty nice job of pulling what was a decent pitch. But we did start to see some things like the pitch count being up. It was like he was in a boxing match. And, if you look back, they had to make a pitching change during that inning we were on offense. Without that pitching change, we probably would have pulled him, but that we thought allowed to give him a little bit of a breather, and we gave him a chance to go back out there and get some of the guys that he had retired, not easily, but, you know, in strong fashion, and it didn't happen. So we went to the guy that was fresh and the guy that's considerably reliable.
Do you know how many pitches he ended up with?
Chad, he ended up with 89.
Tony, at what point maybe in the off season, I guess you never really know, but at what point did you start to feel like Beck was going to come out looking like this, or with this kind of potential to show this kind of, not just the pop, but just the hitting to all fields and doing the stuff he's doing?
In August, when, you know, we couldn't work with our guys yet, but up in our office, you know, the windows are there, so you're going to see what's going on. And the balls were going over the fence multiple times every time he was out there, but he was using more of the field. I mean, right center was getting peppered like crazy. And then the next time was, just to be honest with you, I mean, we're playing scrimmages and we have the technology everybody else in our league has, and there's balls coming off the barrel that's not there. The exit velo is not getting recorded. So he's a considerably strong dude. He's made himself stronger with Coach Q, but also works like a maniac at the craft of hitting, and he takes it very, very seriously, even though when you talk to him sometimes he's acting like a goofball.
And with,
Finish up with you.
Coach, just Blade making a second start tomorrow. What are you looking forward to seeing from him, improving on from his first start?
Sure. And Wes, we can follow up on Beck. I saw you had something there, but finishing, you know, Ben, your question about Tidwell is just that competitive edge. I mean, the guy is, he's silent around me. I don't know if he's like that around his teammates, but he's kind of got the killer attitude that you like to see on the mound. I mean, Tristan Weaver from Indiana State had a killer attitude. That was a pretty good pitcher we faced tonight to open things up. And Blade's one of those guys you could write that down in your scouting notes as well. So just want to see that. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular. His off-speed pitches, I would assume, would be better just because they weren't very good last week. But more that attitude and that comfort level, and maybe being on his home mound will help with that.
yeah, Tony, the question was actually it was about Hundley. How important is it? I know it's kind of simple, right? You throw strikes, you got a better chance to win games. But how important is it for the guys on your staff to see that what can happen when you go out there and just, you know, trust your stuff, attack batters, you know, don't kind of dilly up there?
Sure. Well, that's one thing. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, and then you could expand on it with kind of how he handles practice and what kind of a teammate he is and how he handles coaching. There's a lot of things that are a lead by example deal. But yeah, if you go out there and you compete consistently and throw strikes consistently, then we know exactly what we're getting. And there's some guys that could do exactly what he's doing, but not beat him out on the depth chart right now, but they would pitch more. A coach, Indiana State, Tennessee, Oregon, it don't matter where you're at. Baseball coaches want to know what they're getting out of a guy when they put him out there. And with Chad Dallas, we know we're going to get a competitor, and the guys like to rally behind him. And with Sean Hundley, we know we're going to get some composure, and we're going to get strikes, like you said.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you all.
All right, guys.